Hi, welcome to today's BestMyTest speaking lesson. In this video, we are going to look at TOEFL independent speaking questions related to traveling. Questions could go like this. Talk about an interesting tourist attraction you have been to. Where would you like to go to spend a vacation? Name a place in your country you would recommend others to visit. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is give you a list of handy words that you can use in your response. As you learn these words, you can pause the video to make your own sentences. This way, you can ensure you really know how to use them. So, let's get right into that. The first word is tourist attraction. A tourist attraction is a place which many tourists tend to visit. An example sentence would be, the most famous tourist attraction in Paris is the Eiffel Tower. Tourist attractions are often historic sites or heritage sites. A historic site is a place where pieces of political, cultural or social history have been preserved. Places like ancient buildings and ruins are examples of historic sites. Here are example sentences. When we visited Rome, we went on a tour of all the historic sites. The Taj Mahal in Agra is a famous historic site in India. It is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Another adjective, historical, is often used too. For example, a historical building. However, the words historic and historical are used in slightly different ways. Historic means famous or important in history, whereas historical means concerning history. Thus, a historic building is of huge historical importance, whereas a historical building is simply an ancient or old building. Often a tourist attraction is also a landmark. A landmark is an object or feature of a landscape or town that is easily seen and recognized from a distance, especially one that enables someone to establish their location. Here's an example sentence. Each year, millions of tourists visit Italy to see the country's cultural and historical landmarks, such as the Colosseum in Rome and the Greek ruins in Sicily. If the tourist attraction is a natural place, we often use the words scenic and scenery to describe the place. We use the adjective scenic to describe a natural place that is beautiful to look at. For example, you could say Niagara Falls and the Grand Canyon are 2 of the most scenic landmarks in the world. Or, the ocean view here is very scenic. As for scenery, scenery means beautiful natural environment. For example, you can say natural scenery, mountain scenery, ocean scenery, lakeside scenery, or volcanic scenery. Here are example sentences. The Rocky Mountains offer beautiful mountain sceneries. India has some of the most beautiful natural scenery on Earth. The ocean scenery in Greece is breathtaking. In the last sentence, we use the adjective breathtaking. Breathtaking means that something is so beautiful that you literally lose your breath. We often use the word to describe a place that has a beautiful view. For example, you can say, the main reason why I recommend people going to the Rocky Mountains is that you can get a breathtaking view of the mountain scenery. There are many adjectives we can use to describe a tourist attraction or a scene. For example, we use picturesque to describe a scene so picture perfect that you feel an impulse to reach for your camera or double check to make sure it's real. Here's an example sentence. Armagh is a picturesque village in Northern Ireland. We also often use majestic to describe a place that shows impressive beauty and scale. For instance, you can say, I was fascinated by the majestic pyramids in Egypt. So, what do you do when you take a trip to a place? You normally do sightseeing. Sightseeing is what you do when you travel somewhere and spend time visiting museums, tourist attractions or landmarks. The phrases go sightseeing and do sightseeing are often used. Here are example sentences. When we took a trip to India, we did a lot of sightseeing. They were on a sightseeing trip to the pyramids. We went sightseeing this summer. There are other phrases we can use when we travel. Let's look at them now. Take a trip to, go on a trip to, take a tour of, and go on a tour of. You can add vacation, holiday, or sightseeing before the noun trip. So you can say, I took a holiday trip to Paris last month. I went on a vacation trip to Japan in spring. Last summer we took a sightseeing tour of Europe. My brother is planning to go on a sightseeing trip to India. Alright, now that we have covered some vocabulary, I want to provide you with some sentence templates that you can use in your speaking response for questions related to vacation and traveling. Okay, let's look at this table here. The left column lists useful sentence templates and the right column contains samples using these templates. In the following minutes, you will hear and see the examples provided in the table. You can pause this video anytime if you want to practice speaking on your own. Now, let's begin.
One of the most interesting tourist attractions I've been to is the Niagara Falls in New York. One of the most interesting tourist attractions I've been to is the Galata Tower in Istanbul, Turkey. I went on a vacation trip to Paris 2 years ago. I took a vacation trip to Paris 2 years ago. I went on a sightseeing tour of Europe last year. I went on a sightseeing trip to India. Paris is a very popular holiday destination in the world. I was fascinated by the biggest waterfalls in the world. I was fascinated by the breathtaking view of the Great Pyramid. I was fascinated by the natural scenery in Yellowstone National Park. The mountain scenery is breathtaking. Rome has various places of interest, such as the ancient museums, flea markets, shopping centers, city landmarks, and historic monuments. There are always interesting places you can go to and fun activities you can explore. That's why there are always hordes of tourists. Yellowstone National Park has beautiful natural scenery and many scenic attractions, such as natural scenic areas, forest recreation areas, and many unspoiled landscapes. Seattle has many family-friendly attractions, such as the theme park, aquarium, and museums. Rome has many cultural and historic attractions, such as temples, monuments, ancient churches, and many historic sites. The main attraction is viewing lakeside scenery when the sun goes down. It gets very busy with hordes of tourists, so I decided to go out of season in the winter.
Alright, now you should feel more comfortable talking about vacation and traveling. Let's see some TOEFL speaking questions and their sample answers using the sentence templates you know already.
One of the most interesting tourist attractions I have been to is Niagara Falls in New York. There are 2 reasons for this. Firstly, Niagara Falls is a very popular holiday destination in the world. It has many family-friendly attractions, such as theme parks, aquariums, and museums. I was also fascinated by the breathtaking view of the biggest waterfall in the world, and the mountain scenery is majestic. Secondly, it was a fun trip. My friends and I went on a sightseeing tour to Niagara Falls to celebrate my graduation of college. We went to a lot of fancy restaurants and took a lot of photos together. For these reasons, Niagara Falls in New York is one of the most interesting tourist attractions I have been to.
The place I would like to go to spend a vacation is Paris. There are 2 reasons for this. One reason is that I went on a vacation trip to Paris with my family 2 years ago, and it was such a memorable vacation experience. I had such a great time with my family. We dined at fancy restaurants and went to many different interesting local shops and museums. Another reason is that Paris is a very popular holiday destination in the world. It has various places of interest, such as flea markets, shopping centers, and city landmarks. There are always interesting places you can go to, and fun activities you can explore. That's why there are always hordes of tourists. Fortunately, we went out of season to avoid tourists. Anyway, for these 2 reasons, I would definitely like to go again and spend a vacation in Paris.
Okay, this is the end of today's video. I suggest you also watch our video on how to master TOEFL speaking question task 1 and 2 to learn more about the structures and templates of task 1 and 2. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you want to practice more TOEFL speaking questions, go to our website www.bestmytest.com. As usual, if you have more questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below, and don't forget to give our video a thumbs up. See you soon and goodbye.